Well, welcoming to another episode of the podcast, Miss Wandi. She is a business mentor for the Limitless woman who's also and I love this, disruptive weirdo doing iconic shit. I don't think it gets better than that.
Yeah.
Her space is where business owners can come in and get real strategy so that the brand sells itself. I could not be more happy to welcome Wandi to the podcast because this girl, from the second I met her, we met in Costa Rica. From the
Okay.
second I met her, I was like, ooh, this one right here. I feel like we immediately hit it right off the bat. You guys will hear a little bit why later. We bonded over some very unique hobbies, and I'm really excited to have her on the podcast. So, Wandi, thank you so much for being here.
Are you kidding me? Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. And I know that the conversation that we're about to have is gonna be incredible, but I'm also like so excited like to see you, even though I cannot move you.
I know. It has been, God, 2 months. Kind of feels like 2 lifetimes, but it's been 2 months since
No,
we've
right?
met and seen each other. That's chaotic in the best way.
Yep.
So the first thing that I wanna ask you about is bringing it way back to the beginning
Okay.
when you were younger.
Mm.
Were you an athlete growing up? And if you were, was that a big piece of your childhood growing up?
I think so because I was the girl that I was always the girl with potential. And now that I grow up, I don't like that specific thing. Because at some point when you grow up, you feel tired of being the girl with potential and not the girl that has actually like got the things, right? But my entire life, I was the girl with potential. So I was doing all the things. Like I played handball, basketball, softball, chess because people consider that a sport.
Love it.
Um, and I did a lot of things. And then when I got to college, I didn't do any sports, anything. Like I didn't do anything. And then when I graduated college, I got myself into CrossFit, and it's been 15 years. Now I do jiu-jitsu too, but I got into CrossFit in 2010. So it's been like, yeah, 15 years. I even have a CrossFit gym, like outside, like in here, like right there in my house.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
actually didn't know about the CrossFit. That's cool. You were part of the OG group too of 2010. That's like
Yeah,
right when it hit the scene.
almost the OG. Yeah. I think that it was at the beginning of CrossFit with, the CEO back then was the guy that actually created the entire movement.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was great. I mean, it got me through so much, right? Because like you develop a mentality that is not normal. Even though when I had it when I was a kid, I think that my competitiveness, is that a word in English? Competitiveness.
Yes, you got
Um,
it.
it's like I had it, but then it grew really harder when I started doing CrossFit. And then my mindset was like, okay, I'm just going to be better than yesterday. 1%. That's the goal. That's it. And I started to compete and doing a lot of things. I even took like nutrition coaching certifications just to make sure that I was eating for athletic performance. Like it was crazy. I went really hard on it. And it has helped me to this day, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? That's funny because I was going to ask you, I
Yeah.
think I knew the answer, but I was going to ask you if you felt like you grew up with that natural competitive spirit. And even already, it sounds like, yeah, you've always been really competitive and you've gone all in when you really care about something. And so, do you feel like that has evolved and developed as you've grown older, as you've
Yes.
matured, as you've evolved into the person that you are? Or do you feel like from the get go, you were like, nope, it's always been this way. I've always had the skill. I've always known what to do.
So when I started, I'm a mechanical engineer and I went into corporate as a mechanical engineer. And I remember the first week that I was in there, they had us do a Gallup test. Like it's a specific test that tells you like what are your strengths and focus on your strengths. And then they tell you what are your weaknesses and like not focus on your weaknesses, but that's just like for the 9 to 5 shit. And my top five, and I want to share this with you because I think that it applies. It's
Please.
achiever, competition, activator, learner, and futuristic. So really, you know me. You
Wow.
knew me for like you have known me for 2 months, and it's like, yeah, that's Wandi. Yeah, it's fucking crazy, right? It's
Yeah.
that I have always been competitive, but I think that growing up, because I had a really toxic childhood, like one that people can create like a funny movie out of it. So, and I know that you know part of my story, but like I guess the competition was always there, but I don't think that it was healthy. It wasn't until
Mm,
I grew up and I did the work that I had to do, the inner work that I had to do, that I realized that I could use it to something else. And I think that it always fueled me because otherwise, like, I wouldn't be here.
mm,
But now it's different because now, in terms of business and in my life and everything, like my mindset right now is like I either win or I win. Like there's no other option for me. Like this, it's gonna happen, and I just have to move like that. And also, with the mindset of like, if I go to jujitsu tomorrow, it's like no, I just like, even if it's the worst day in jujitsu because 200-pound men are swooping my ass, I still feel like, gosh, it was incredible because I learned so much and I'm getting better, right?
mm.
So yeah, the goal is 1% better than yesterday.
That's beautiful.
That's great.
So, and feel free to, open up about this in whatever way feels best for you and however you feel like it's relevant. But
Yes.
seeing as you had a lot of trials and tribulations growing up, how do you feel like the way that you were raised and the way that you came into adulthood and the way that you came into, being the woman who ended up discovering these really incredible traits about yourself, how do you feel like the resistance and navigating the stickiness has evolved and helped shape who you are today?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. And I don't think that a lot of maybe a lot of people will resonate with this, but I feel like there was no other option.
Mm,
That's like I had two options, right? Like going to the path of my parents or rise above that, right? And like kind of like make it work out. And probably like all of you who are eldest daughters are gonna feel like, yep, 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 exactly. Because I feel like it's a lot of people are gonna resonate with that because all of us go through some things. Some of us, go through more traumatic things and we kind of like have to get through that. But I feel like, yeah, there was no other option. Like there was, unfortunately, and it's not something that is cool for an 8, 12, 15, 18-year old to say this, but no one was going to save me. So I had to do it myself. And I had two options, right? There was the option of like, obviously being a good student, because for me, what got me out was like, like, help from the government and things that I applied and things like that, that actually helped me with my studies to get out of that situation.
mm,
It was also the sportsmanship because I already had that embedded in my brain, in my DNA.
mm.
So I don't think that you turn it off ever. I don't think that we do. Like you can talk to any athlete. Not that I was. I mean, I don't think that I was an athlete. But, just
Ah, it's debatable. It sounds like you were.
one now, but or maybe when I was competing in CrossFit. But before that, I was just like, in a group sport, doing the shit, right? But I don't think that I think that it helps us so much because obviously, like right now, I'm a mom. I have a business. Sometimes, for example, I think that it was on Friday. I wrote on a story that I didn't want it to come because it was after Christmas, right? It was Friday after Christmas, and I was like, I didn't want to come to the gym, but I'm here because I didn't want that. Like, I either have my daughter screaming at me because I have a 3-year-old screaming at me for an hour, or I go to the gym and get better and not get my ass kicked and jiu-jitsu because I'm stronger. So it's like, so obviously there are gonna be times where we go just because of our mental health. But I don't think that the mindset and the sportsmanship never goes away.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think there's a lot of beauty to seeing the way that it evolves and
Yes.
the way that it ends up showing up in your life. So for example, you used to have to overcome tremendous challenge and tremendous trauma and it built up a resilience in you that you didn't choose to have, but that you created.
Yeah.
And so now as you see that showing up in different ways in your life, because now it might show up when there's a 200 pound man on top of you in jujitsu, or it might show up when you're in a really sticky season of
Yeah.
business. And so the ways that it's showing up now in your life, how do you feel like you have evolved your mindset and your relationship with navigating these different seasons of challenge or these different experiences of challenge? And do you feel like you've grown a relationship where you appreciate challenge, or is there pieces of you where you feel like, "Oh god, I just wish I could get a break?"
Oh my gosh, this is such a great question. And I feel like it would apply if you are a business owner or anything that you have in life, right? That if you develop this specific mindset, it almost feels like a hack. Because
Mhm.
for me, it's like I like the discomfort. I thrive in it. I'm a business mentor, right? So if like the way that I support my clients is by being my own proof of concept. And that includes navigating the lows as well. And it's like it's so cool that I have the capacity to do so because next week my clients are gonna go through the same thing. And I was like, I'm gonna be like, I already did that.
Mm.
Here's how we can navigate all of this, right? So it's not for me. It's not only about winning because obviously I'm gonna win. Like that's I have really no doubt about that. So if I'm going something right now, it's so cool that it's like I'm gonna navigate through that, and then I'm gonna help my clients do that, and then I am my own proof of concept because if I want to work with a type of client that moves like me, that thinks that me like me, that wants to impact millions of people because right now we are in a like I work with women and like for me it has never been more important to put as much money as I can in the hands of women so my baby grows up in a world where we are not going back but forward and I need my clients to impact more women so my baby can grow up in that kind of world, right? So it's like I love the discomfort. I love to do all of that because then I go to my clients and I'm like, again, I already did that. Let's
Mm.
navigate it together. And then if it took me 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, whatever, you're gonna do it in weeks.
Oh my god, that's so powerful. It's like bringing gratitude to every challenge that you have to overcome because then you know it just makes you a better leader.
It is, and we never turn it off. Like every single outlet that you think right now, if you think about your favorite athlete, whether they are alive or dead or dead or something, like you are gonna think about them not only because they were always winning, but because they were thriving in the discomfort and they came on top anyway, right? And if we think about our favorite mentor, it's going to be the same thing. Like every single person that we look up to, they have this winning mindset, and it's yeah. Like, again, we don't turn it out. And I think that so many people need to think about that because if you are a leader in your 9 to 5, you don't turn that off just because you clock out. If you're a mentor, it's the same thing. If you're an athlete, it's the same thing. It's like a winning mindset, and that mentality we try to discomfort.
Oh, that's so important for more people to understand because that's really how you leverage to the next level is not only it's not only not being afraid of challenge, but it's embracing it because it's the key to getting to that next level. Like, that's true leadership right there.
Yeah.
And so I love something that you were just saying was you were really connecting the concept of being a leader and having the winning mentality. And that's something that I also talk about a lot. So I would love to hear your perspective of what you feel are powerful qualities in a great leader and
Mhm.
how that leads to more winning in your life, business, mission, whatever it is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, probably this is not something that everybody will agree on, but I feel like if you are a leader, you are here to impact millions. Like, I'm not here to create $1 million company. Like, I'm here to create $1 million impact, right? And it's like every single leader that we see and connect to, it's the same way. It's like we almost attach ourselves to their identity and their movement. I don't know if I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm thinking about a lot of athletes right now. And just like I'm thinking about the way that if I follow them, it's because of that. Right now, if you think about
Mhm.
your favorite athlete, your favorite influencer, your favorite creator, whatever you want to call it, all of them have the same trait about like they are creating something that is bigger than them. And I think that that's gonna be so important, when we think about that mission. And You were asking about qualities, right? Qualities that I think one of them is that. The other one is that, and if you're a business owner or if you're trying to sell anything, I need you to listen to this, okay? Uh, Another quality is that they have like almost this underdog story that you relate to, right? And that comes to the identity behind your brand, right? If you're a business, you should be working on that really hard because that's what's gonna sell for you. But like we almost attach ourselves to that underdog story. So if you have one and you are able and willing to share it to the world, I think that that's gonna be so important. Plus, and if you think about that leadership mindset about like the impact that they want to have, then they have the underdog story, and then they have all these traits and the mentality of never giving up, doing it, doing it scared, doing it when you feel on a high, when you feel on a low. Like it's almost like it becomes a non-negotiable for you. Now I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys, and I started jujitsu. I'm a white belt in jujitsu. I started jujitsu in February, and I already know that I'm gonna be doing jujitsu until I die. I'm gonna be the old grandma doing jujitsu. Garland. You know how you see some TikTok videos and you see like the old guy getting their black belt? That's gonna be me.
Yes.
But
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there at that ceremony.
God, that I am still beating my husband because I'm still like by then. Because he's also a black belt doing jiu-jitsu and we do it together and we almost treat it like it's a date night. Because
Oh
we
my
just go
god.
and train because we have a 3-year-old and he has a business and I have a business. We literally have no time. So
Wow.
we go to jiu-jitsu and literally the mentality is like, okay, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be fully present. Something that we were talking about, in case you guys don't know this, but in jiu-jitsu, like you get promoted based on the time and the consistency and obviously your game. And we have the capacity to go only twice a week to jiu-jitsu because again I have a business and I have a baby. Like I go on Wednesdays because I have the nanny here, and I go on Saturdays so my baby stays with my husband so I can go to jiu-jitsu, and he goes on Mondays. Like it's really a full schedule when we are like trying to map it all out so it works. And I'm still getting promoted, even though I go twice a week only. But it's because of my mindset.
Mm.
I'm getting promoted. I'm tapping people. I'm losing sometimes. I'm winning sometimes against people that are going 5 times a week. But it's because when I go in there, I go all in. Like that's my time to go all in no matter what. And then I take what I learn, I put it to practice, and then I go again. And it's so weird because that's not what I'm telling you on this schedule is not something that is normal. I know people that go twice a week and they are not getting promoted. And kudos to my professor in jiu-jitsu because he's incredible and he obviously he's seen that. But that is the same mindset that applies to everything else, right? Like I have a nanny and I have a baby. So my work week usually it's at the very least 24 least or max depending, but I have the nanny 24 hours a week. So my business is running on 24 hours weeks. And if I
Mm.
need more time, it's at night or my baby stays with my husband and shit like that. But it's the same thing. My business is winning. It's incredible. And my clients are all winning, all of them. And I am working on 24-hour weeks, which is insane.
It's amazing. I think
So,
the word we're looking for is amazing. It's
but it
inspiring, it's incredible.
happens. Yeah, right. It's like everything ties together. And I feel like that's why your work is so powerful, Caitlin, because if the people that don't get to this mindset, unfortunately, it like they are gonna suffer in 2026.
I could not agree more. And
Mm.
actually, so I'm glad you said that because I'm hearing you give this incredible answer, and I'm also hearing I have 24 hours a
The
week to run
answer?
my business. I have a business. My husband has a business. We have a 3-year-old child. Like, you're not abundant with extra time, shall we say, but you always make it a priority to get to jujitsu, to navigate your schedule in whatever way you can to show up, to give your body that practice, to give your body that time to treat your body and your mind in this way that's so important to you. Why is that such a priority for you? And how does that impact the way that you are showing up in your business?
I think that again, everything ties together. I feel like, and And it almost like, when you're winning, you sometimes like, how, I don't know, maybe you started to go to the gym and you started to see some progress. Maybe you drop a size, or maybe you're stronger. Maybe you can hold your baby for a longer time or something. Whatever progress you're seeing, obviously, when you see the progress, you want to continue because you're seeing the progress. But there's such an impact when you show up when you are not seeing the progress, when you're not seeing the external catching up with the internal. Because we don't negotiate with our fears. We don't negotiate with our dreams, right? So why are you negotiating with how you feel today for some stupid reason? And like, I think that I like to say that my business is not my baby is my baby, but that doesn't mean that I don't treat my business with the quality it requires. And for me, going to the gym, it's part of that. It's the non-negotiable. You have to create the non-negotiables, and then the non-negotiable is like, yep, like, I'm gonna do it. Something that I'm doing right now, because again, with the schedule and all the shit, I'm going twice a jiu-jitsu a week, and the other 2 days I'm working to get stronger so I can beat my husband's ass at jiu-jitsu. But it's like, I'm not negotiating with those extra 2 days either, right? Because I like, sometimes, most of the time when I go to jiu-jitsu, I am the only girl in the class. And I need to be able to go sparring with people that are stronger and potentially better than me. Not everybody's better than me, but they are stronger, mostly. So I need to get stronger. And I feel like all of that ties to my business so beautifully, because it's the same thing. It's not, what are your non-negotiables right now? With eating, with exercising, with how you treat your mind, how you speak to yourself, how you treat your business with the quality it requires, how you treat how your standards and your boundaries are always there, so you continue to be healthy. Like, something that I didn't mention, I have cyclothymia. Cyclothymia is a mood disorder, a mild form of bipolar disorder. So something that I am working really hard is on my standards and my boundaries. And anybody that it's gonna come to my life, they need to elevate the standard that I already have. Otherwise, I don't want to be here. I don't have time. That's like, if you are not gonna add to my cup at some level, like, then I don't have time with that for you, because, like, why would I do that, right? And if I was able to go no contact with my mom, believe me, some stranger that is not gonna add to my cup, like, dude, it's gonna be easy for me. It's gonna be easy for me just to, take you out of the equation, because, like, this is the space where we're gonna be winning. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I hope people listening are taking notes. This is like everything I could have wanted and more. I feel like I'm learning right now. I should be taking notes. Has it
Thank you.
always been something that has come naturally for you to set boundaries and to hold a high standard, or is that something you really had to develop?
No, I had to. That was a hard one,
Yeah.
because I come from like, my parents are both narcissistic. Is that the word in English? Okay.
Yeah, narcissistic,
And
exactly.
then my cyclothymia was, like, no diagnosed last year in July, even though I have always gone to therapy since 2010. Not always, but since 2010, since I graduated college. And so I had to um let go of a lot of things. The first one being learning to say no, because my family are the kind of people that you give them a hand and they take the entire arm. So I had to learn to say no to them, and they had to learn themselves, to do things without me. And people pleasing and a lot of things. So I have been doing a lot of work, especially when I left therapy for a while, and then I came back when I became pregnant. And my husband went to therapy as well, because we didn't want to bring a lot of things to this new family that we were creating. And it's been, yeah, I think that therapy plus being in business, because being in business, I have been in business since 2018. That being said, if some of you have been in business for a while, you probably know that 2020 all the way to 2022, everybody and their mom could make money online, and then buyer behavior shifted. And it has been the best thing that has happened for so many people, because when you learn how to create an identity behind your brand, an identity for people to attach themselves to the mission of your brand, everything is going to change for you. And I think that without that, I don't think that my growth, personal growth, will have been like that with
Mhm.
everything that we are talking. So I think that everything ties together again with the mentality, with the winning mentality, and thinking or treating yourself like an athlete, like a high performance athlete. I don't care if you're not the MVP, like you're still a high performance athlete in your life, right? And so you should be treating your life like that.
Amen. Amen. And if more people understood that, it would bring so much more power into people's hands
Mhm.
because people really do outsource their power a lot. And it has
No,
to do with the way that they identify, you know?
yeah, yeah, and it's a word that it takes a lot of things, and I wish that I hired for somebody, but for an example, I wish that when I was navigating all of this, I would hire somebody like you, because I think that my development or my not development, but I think that I will have collapsed time because it took me a while.
Yeah,
That's the beauty of it, right? Because we thrive in the discomfort and then we help our clients, accelerate that process instead of so it doesn't take as long for them.
absolutely. It is truly helping people quantum leap what you had to learn from the true beginnings, you
Yeah.
know? And I know you talked about that earlier. And just given the fact, I think this is important, given the fact that you really did have to make yourself again from the ground up, you had to overcome a lot of challenge. There's a lot of people that are going to hear this and relate to it a lot
Mhm.
because that is, unfortunately a lot of people's experience.
Yeah.
And so, given that, there's a lot of people that are going to cling to their story because it's gonna be such a deep part of their identity, and
Yes.
it's going to hold them back. How were you able to or what advice would you give to someone that's really, really, still stuck in the heat of it? Doesn't mean they're not gonna come out of it, but they're really in the thick of it right now, but trying to navigate what they've been through and who they want to evolve into. What advice would you give to somebody kind of stuck in the victim right now that really wants to step into the winning mentality?
So I think I have 2 points. I'm gonna give the first one, which is I'm gonna give you the first one. I think that you and I talked about this earlier, but something that I was asking myself um this week actually. I don't know, last week. In the last 7 days. I was thinking about, okay, one day, I'm just gonna be blunt with you guys, and I'm gonna say it. My goal for 2026 is to make 1 million in cash in my business, which is insane,
Yes.
probably insane. I don't even have proof that that's gonna happen. Um, and I was thinking to myself, okay, what things do I need to do, or how one day hitting 1 million in cash, how will she move? And then I was looking at a lot of things, and one of my gaps, or I believe that are my gaps, it has to do with like visibility. And then I was like, okay, when then you have to do X, Y, and Z, and then I map it out. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do that now, not in January 7th, which is my first day back. I'm gonna do them now. And then I started doing this on December 24th. Like I'm moving for my 2026 goals, and the things that I decided that were my gap the day before Christmas, which is insane, right? Because I'm not the person that waits. And that brings me to the second point, because you have to think to yourself, yes, I want you to give yourself some grace, because sometimes we need to cry it out. Sometimes we need to stop. Sometimes we need to reset, and that's okay. But I also want you to think about how your future self will be moving. And sometimes something that helped me was my baby, right? Because like really there's no other option. He has me. So I need to be okay. And so what's that person for you? What is that person for you that you know that it's gonna become your non-negotiable? And I want you to write it out. What are your non-negotiables? If you want to drop 20 pounds by in 2026, that's a really weird goal. I want you to say, I want to drop 20 pounds by March 2026 by doing X, Y, and Z. Like literally create smart goals. And smart meaning like specific, measurable, achievable. Oh my gosh, I haven't said that in a while. So I don't. Um,
Realistic and
Realistic
timely.
time amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have a goal for 2026 that you had for 2025, fine. I'm gonna give you 2 seconds, and then you're just like, yeah, we're gonna drop that, and then you're gonna create a plan to hitting that goal for 2026, and then you're gonna create a plan to actually make it happen, a smart goal. And if you don't have that, probably you should just like sit down and hire KPN. No, but it's true. I mean, it's like if you are in the trenches of it, you probably know what your goal is, what your gap is, and you just have to get out of that situation. And sometimes you need a therapist, sometimes you need to suck it up, but it depends because I don't know you, right? But I need you to realize that you can't act like a high performance athlete and you treat your life accordingly. Your dreams are non-negotiable. So why are you moving for something that is negotiable? No, no, no. Like you either win or you win. That's it.
You either win or you win.
Mm,
It is the confidence and the power that you speak with that I think is so important. Like, I hope people actually watch the video of this because there is a certainty in your energy as you speak. And I think this is really important because you're talking about this concept of why are you acting like your non negotiables are negotiable? You're like, no, cut the crap, get
no,
your shit together and do it. And
yeah,
it's not, there's no drama around it. You're not creating drama around it. You're like, it is what it is. Figure it out. This is the only option. And I think that part right there is so important for people to realize is the more mental drama you create around it, the more resistance you're going to create, the more difficult it's going to be to stick to the action. But
yeah,
if you can just understand what you said, what your specific goals are, what the specific actions to get there are, and how to execute it, and you just take that as the playbook, it's the guide to actually follow through and get what you're going to, like you're out here saying, you're like, "Hey, I don't know how, but I'm going to make $1,000,000. Watch me do it." You're not going, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do." You're like, "Oh, I actually already created a plan. Let me start it early." Because
yeah.
why would I wait? And
Why
there's so
would
much power in that. And I mean, I'm going to have you personally give your input on this, but I think this for me makes so much sense why you work with people you define as limitless. Like your entire
yeah,
program is called Limitless.
yeah.
So from this perspective, I would love to hear where you came into relationship with that word limitless and why it means so much to work with you with a human being that really does define themselves or identify with the concept of being limitless.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that question because I haven't talked about that in a while. Um,
Oh, welcome. I would love to I'm genuinely so excited to hear about it.
something you remember when I was telling you guys about like the how it took me a while to create an identity behind my brand, and I like the people that have been in business for a while, they are doing the same. If you think about any brand, if any of you think about your favorite brand and the brand that you can identify yourself like to their mission is because they have an identity, right? And when I created mine, I remember that I have 3 pillars behind my brand. One of them is innovation. And I think that that one comes from me being a mechanical engineer and how like I have to put in innovation in everything that I do. Literally, my work in the 9 to 5 was launching new products for medical devices and talking with marketing and literally designing the shit, designing the product or the operations to create it. So I'm big on that. Then the second one is disruptive because you are not meant to be in the industry, you're meant to be pioneered. Okay. And I want you guys to think about that. You know, when you're doing everything and we're creating this identity and like how you're gonna move and creating your non-negotiables and all that shit, I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be doing what Caitlin is doing. No, no, no. I want you to do whatever you feel like it's pouring out of you, right? And it sounds weird, but like if you're a disruptive weirdo, like do you're not following the rules. You're not putting yourself in a box. And you're not meant to blend in the industry either, or creating a piece of content tomorrow and then get overlooked by your dream client. So when you think about all of that, then it got to the limitless part. And I feel like for me, I always knew that I was because I'm my own proof of concept, you know, from a really rose for the ashes, from the ashes of whatever is the saying is. when I decided to put that name not only behind my brand, but also creating a program that is really for the limitless woman, is because I was thinking about who do I want to work with, and something that happened to me. And I remember, for those of you who are business owner, probably you went through this too. But I remember that when one of my mentors at the beginning, she asked me, "Okay, Wandi, I want you to identify 5 people that are your dream clients," and I was like, "Girl, I have no one." So I started creating content for myself, for the person that moved like me, that had the same identity as me, that she, like that person. And then now we have been talking for almost half an hour. I feel like you guys know me, right? So my content was speaking to that person, and then she started to show up. But I really have no my audience that I could identify that was gonna be my dream client in Limitless. And when I was thinking about positioning my brand and Limitless, my signature program, as the program to support my dream client into X, Y, and Z, because I don't need to give you the exact terms of formation about it. But I was thinking, when you're going to position yourself as, right now, if you're thinking about your brand, or you're thinking about yourself, how you're going to be executing in 2026, I want you to think about your standards, your boundaries, and if you're a business owner, your position on industry, your opinion on industry norms. And I want you to start creating content for that. So you're gonna be creating content. In my case, I was creating content for the person that liked me. So of course, my dream clients started to come in because they resonated with that.
Wow.
And it's weird. It's weird because it's not that that's not nothing that's not normal. But it is, like you said, it is what it is. I
Well, it's so enlightening, honestly, to hear that, because you
Yeah.
got asked a real question. She said, "Who are 5 people in your audience?" And you're like, "Oh shit,
I don't
I
know.
don't have any. I don't know." But instead of viewing that as the roadblock, you basically used it as the solution. You
Yeah.
said, "Okay, but it's me. It's
Yeah.
me."
It's me. So let's
Yeah,
start calling her out.
yeah.
Very enlightening. But it's true. It like so when I think about Limitless and who that person is, and why my core program is Limitless, is because when I was creating my legacy offer, the offer, and I call it legacy offer because it's the offer that I want as many women as I can inside that program. Right. So it's a program that is helping me scale my business as well. Right. So it's like, it was, how do I create a program that it's limitless, that it's like it has innovation, that is full of disruptive weirdos, and they are gonna impact the world, and I can provide a transformation even when I am not one on one with them all the time. So obviously, it was like a lot of thought process, a strategy behind it, obviously, because like what I just described is not something that is normal, not yet. At least not when I created it, because that program right now, it's 4 years old. 4 years old. It's gonna be 4 years old in
Wow.
January.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That's such a great milestone. 4 years.
It is, and it's so cool because most people open and close a program, but I evolve it, and I think that it has to do with the limitless and the winning mentality, right? Evolving a program, it's a whole new level of leadership if you can evolve while bringing your people with you, right? And I think that you and I have gone through that with specific people in our lives, right? And it's so beautiful if we bring that leadership, and again, the winning mentality. And that's why I think that, like, everything that we do, you have to treat it like you're Michael Jordan, you guys. Like, you have to. You are like, sometimes I think to myself, okay, what will Tia do? The quote in CrossFit, like, what will Tia do?
I love it. We're gonna send this to them and be like, "Hey,
For those of
you
you who
lit
don't
my
know,
head."
in CrossFit, she's like literally the best athlete in CrossFit in ever.
Amazing.
So obviously, like, if we don't think like that, you can have the angle of thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm a leader. I'm a leader. What am I gonna do? But I think that it almost feels like a hack when you think like an athlete. It's different. You're still a leader. That doesn't change, but it's different. And like,
Right.
it's almost like a hack to treat your entire life, like do a holistic uh, plan, instead of just like, I'm a leader for my business.
Oh, 100%.
and you never turn it off.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? That's the power of making it your identity and not just something that you do. So when you're
Yeah.
saying, like, I need people to really hear this, when you're saying you get to be a high performance athlete, think of the athlete you admire and don't other yourself from them. Don't pedestalize them, become them in your own way. Like, what would they do? And how can you put your own disruptive weirdo take on it. Like, I just think that's so important. And if people really internalize that and they really take the action on it, they will, pun intended, become limitless. You can do anything. It's
Or anything.
such a great formula.
Yeah. And it starts with, again, with the holistic thing, because it's like, when I think about it, it's like, again, I'm gonna work out because it's a non-negotiable. I'm gonna be eating healthy because it is a non-negotiable. And that doesn't mean that I cannot eat whatever I want on Christmas. Like, because that's also part of the mindset, right? Like, you need to understand the things that you're doing. It almost like a mastery behind everything, right? Because like, if I was not eating healthy on Christmas, I don't fucking care. It's okay. I'm not gonna go on spiral because I am 3 pounds heavier on Christmas Day. Like, really, that's just water retention, you guys. Like, you need to
Thank
master.
you. Say it louder.
You need to master what the things that you're doing. You need to master and you need to understand them in order to lead yourself through it, or
Absolutely.
hire somebody that is gonna support you until that time.
Right. Exactly. You know what? And that's really important.
Mentors for everything. We have some.
Exactly. 'Cause I hire a mentor for everything
Yeah.
because why go at it alone? Isn't that the beautiful part of being an athlete is you learn how to be a team player and you learn how to be really good at following the guidance of a coach, somebody that knows more than you in this sport, in this expertise.
Yes.
It's it becomes an actual skill where you get to become, the all-star MVP athlete because you know how to follow coach's instructions and because the you have the internal motivation, the internal drive to actually follow through on the effort, you
Yeah.
know? You're not a blind follower, you're an active initiate of the information you're
I love that.
receiving and you're executing it.
And I will add something else because I think that it is important. Something that I did, I have been with my husband since 2012. So
Wow.
something that I did was literally train him. Like, he's an athlete too. He's always been an athlete. But for me, and I think that some things that I have said may come from a place of privilege, but it's because I wasn't privileged before. I am now because I created this reality, right? And that includes, in my case, because I'm a woman, most men potentially like already have somebody that is like the woman is the default of the house doing a lot of things. But in my case, I have my husband treating my business and my exercise and my well-being with the quality it requires.
Wow.
Right. So I like, he needs to understand the shit, right? He needs to make sure that, right now he does, for example, the groceries. He does that, not me. He's stayed with my baby while I'm working or I work out, and he treats it with the same quality as me because we are both winning. And I feel like if it wasn't because of that, he learned that very early. And my business was able to retire my husband from corporate. He had
Wow.
a finance job. By the same time, by the way, you remember the trending audio of like, I'm looking for a man in finance.
Yes.
The same in the same time that the trend was going on. So I had a blast with it, obviously. Like, I almost went viral because of it. Because I retired and he had a finance job. But if he didn't treat my business with the quality it requires and everything that I just told you about in the last 40 minutes, I wouldn't be here. Right? Because I understand, like, a single mom potentially has like a different reality than me, or everybody has a different reality, right? But I think my point is that if you can, because that's maybe it's not always possible. If you can, I want you to make sure that your inner circle also knows your non-negotiables,
Mm.
and they treat them as is theirs. Because if you win, they will win. They will win too.
Wow. So you created an environment where you could thrive. Like,
Yes,
quite literally, the
you're
environment, the relationships, everything. Like, when you said non-negotiable, that wasn't even just for you, that was in the environment you were surrounding yourself with too.
yeah. Like yeah. Even my baby wakes up on Saturday and he says, "Mama, you're going to jiu-jitsu?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Wow.
Yeah. It's because otherwise, as women, it's kind of hard to do it all, right? Especially
True.
when your time is not your own if you become a mom. Um, and I think that this principle applies to everybody. Like it's so hard for a woman to go to the gym and prioritize that if her husband is not doing the same
Right.
or they are not eating healthy or things like that. And it's so hard. I have a client that she made her first 4K cash in a day. And she still is in her 9 to 5, by the way. And she's looking to, oh, so she was like, obviously so excited. She was like, oh my God, this is, it's happening. Right? Because you remember when you make your first high cash day, you're like,
Yeah.
"Whoa." And then
Yeah.
her husband was like, but what are you going to do with taxes? How is this sustainable? And all these questions that obviously like it were like the mood goes away. Like whatever
Right.
mood he had went away. And we have to navigate a leadership conversation about like, hey, like I went through that. This is what I did with my husband. Take it with a grain of salt and make it
Mhm.
right. But we had to have that conversation because not everybody will be 100% in it with you.
Right.
But in my case, there are some days that my husband believes in me more than me. And that's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
It's so important.
It is. It is. It's honestly just leadership showing up in a different area in your life. It is full body embodiment of
Yes.
what it means to live a life aligned with winning in every branch. It's how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
So you can't have one area really dragging you down while the others are trying to lift up because the scales it's going to balance out lower and you want the whole standard to rise up, right?
We cannot
So
expect to be 100% all the time, every day, but
no.
I do expect your non-negotiables to be there. Anyway.
That needs to be written down and pasted on walls everywhere. You can't be 100% every day, but your non-negotiables do need to be executed every day. Now that, first of all, is it dropped a bar of wisdom, and I need everybody as they hear that to go, "Okay, my non-negotiables have to be executed every day even when I'm not at my best." So what are non-negotiables that I can set right now that create a realistic standard for me to elevate, but not for me to drown and collapse? So as you figure out your non-negotiables, figure out what is going to elevate you, hang there, and then reevaluate and go, okay, my non negotiables are ready to elevate as I elevate. Like allow your non negotiables to evolve with you.
Yes, that's so important because, and honestly, guys, if you do this, everything that we're talking about, you're gonna get better every day. So your non-negotiable needs to evolve because it's like
Ooh.
weight training, right?
Yeah.
Right now, like if you are doing, I don't know, like a power clean every single day for the next 3 months, obviously you're gonna start potentially with like I don't know, like the bar only. So you
Yeah.
understand like how you are gonna do that movement. But then at the end of the 3 months, you're gonna be warming up only with the bar, right? It's like weight training. Like obviously your the weight at the beginning is not gonna be the same at the end because you are training, you're getting better. So your non-negotiables need to be treated like that. It's like they need to evolve with you. And then like when you look back, your non-negotiables at the beginning, like it's gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's just like I do that in 10 minutes now.
Right. Right. It becomes something you can measure.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, you can measure your growth against it.
Yeah.
So then, given your relationship with non negotiables and given the way that you really have created a life that you can be so proud of and is obviously always evolving, what is your relationship with failing or with losing a situation or with not having the outcome be the result that maybe you intended it to be?
Honestly, like I'm not gonna be here saying like failing is not an option. It's like obviously you're gonna fail, like every single day.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel like I stuck onto jitsu every time that I go. I feel like I'm not a good enough mom or wife sometimes. Okay, mom every single day. I feel that every single day, and I'm working.
Mm.
And in business, I set myself with such big goals that, for example, my 2025 goals, I didn't met her, but I surpassed my bare minimum goal. I kind of like do them like a goal, best goal, better goal. I like to do that shit because
Love that.
if you make your entire plan for your better goal, you will always meet the other two goals.
Wow.
We do that, for example, my clients, they have like a launch template and we create something like that in every single, and then they set the goals and then it's like, okay, this is the plan. This is how we're gonna get there. With the amount of signups from here, or like from different channels, all of that shit. We do all
That's
of that and it's on purpose, and I do that in my life. So I'm not gonna be here and tell you failure is not an option. Oh, no, because you're gonna be failing every single day. But I need you to understand is that you need to be okay with failing.
mm.
And once you are okay with failing, you're gonna thrive in that discomfort. And when you are inside that discomfort, that's where I want you to feel like, oh my gosh, okay, I have fuel left in the tank and I want to use it. And sometimes it's gonna look like not getting out of bed. Some like if you're that person right now and you're like, okay, my my goal for today is brushing my teeth. Oh my gosh, I applaud you. You're incredible. I love that for you.
Great.
But then I want you to wake up tomorrow and if you can, go and do that 100% that you're feeling. Because like you're
Mm.
gonna be failing every single time. And again, if you remember the conversation like probably like 20 minutes ago when we were talking about trying the discomfort and then using that as your leadership tool to support others to do the same. Like as I said before, like my clients are gonna be better for it because I just went through that.
Mm.
So yeah, failure. You're gonna be very comfortable with her.
You're gonna be best
Okay, failure,
friends.
failure is a man. Failure is a man. And then you get comfortable with him because you don't like him, but then you're gonna, you know, pass through that. I don't like calling her a her. It's a him.
Sorry, failure is for men.
No, but it's true. Like honestly, there's like that shit of failure is not an option. That's for me. That's bullshit. I'm pretty sure that one athlete is gonna sit here and say like, "Oh my gosh, yes, I never fail" or whatever. No, it's okay. Uh, you get back at it. And I realize that when I think about training and in business as well, every time that I fail, that's where I get so much better at it.
Mm.
So much better because like it's almost like you have a blueprint for of what to not do or what to improve, right? For everything. If you think about sports, any sports that you do is like that. And that's why I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying that you have to, again, with the principle of training, you don't always train up on 100%. Sometimes you're in zone 10, sometimes you're in zone 5, sometimes you're in zone 1, but still you're gonna get something from it when you can get 1% better than that training session. It's the same thing. So yeah, be comfortable
100%.
with it. Try Bennett. Don't be scared because again, you either win or you win.
You either win or you win. That has to that maybe that's gonna be the title of this episode. That's so important. And honestly, as I was hearing you say that too, there's this constant connecting it back to, I can be a better mother for my son or I can be a better leader for my clients. You're constantly connecting your challenges, your resistance back to the way that you get to then give it back to your mission, give it back to your cause.
That's so
So when you think about that, what do you feel like, and you can repeat yourself if you feel like you've said this already. What do you feel like is the biggest cause, biggest driver, biggest impact on your heart that you really want to lead with?
I'm gonna be I'm gonna say what a mom shouldn't because I'm not gonna say my baby. I think that I'm doing all of these for my younger self. I want her to be proud. I want her like, and I created a reel the other day that said this. That it's like I heard somewhere that if anybody will look at my baby right now, if my younger self will look at my baby right now, she will have thought that he was rich, and that broke me. That broke me. Be, then to answer your question, it's like I don't think that is for him. I think that it is for my younger self because I became who I needed when I was younger. And even though my younger self is happy right now, my teenage self, it's kind of like full of rage, and I'm still working through that. I think that that's my definite answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring tissues to my next podcast episode. Go the
Those
inner
like that it
child.
made you cry in October. And
That's true. We have held each other while we sobbed before. Yeah, it's honestly, it's a great way to bond. Yeah, no, I actually don't think I've stopped crying since October.
oh, yeah, but it's true. And I think that what Kaylin said is so important because when everything that you do, if you tie it back to your mission, and if you don't know what your mission is, maybe you feel like, oh my gosh, I need to update it or something. It's okay because you evolve. It is okay. Like at the beginning, I created my business because I needed $280 extra per month. And look at us now.
Oh my
Like,
god.
this is insanity. Right, so obviously the mission change and evolve, and if you evolve with it and you stay true to yourself and you continue to maintain your boundaries and your standards and you elevate them as you fly yourself, I think that there's nothing that is going to stop you. Nothing, really nothing. Not even the failure that is going to happen tomorrow.
Wow, that's so important. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm actually gonna switch up my final question because I think this one is gonna be more important to the conclusiveness of this conversation. And you're totally gonna make me cry. Looking back with everything you've learned now, with everything that you've evolved into, created, grown into, learned, what is one thing that you wish you could go back and tell your younger self that is exactly what you needed to hear from what you've created today?
Oh my gosh. Caitlin.
I know. I know.
Okay. I think that for me and my answer, if you don't know the background, you maybe don't get it, but it's very easy. Like I think that for the longest time, what I wanted was to feel safe. That's the only thing that I needed. I needed to feel safe. So when most kids were dreaming about, I don't know, material things or winning on something or anything, I was just like I just wanted a house that was not loud, and everything that entails. So that's, for example, I bought my first house. That's my first house at 21, which is insane. And I think that it's because like that wasn't trauma. Yeah, we can say that it was not trauma. But I think that what I'm gonna go back to her is just like letting her know that everything is gonna be okay. You're gonna feel safe, and you're gonna be happy. Uh, because I think that something that took me a while to learn is that happiness is a choice because I thought that it was not a default. I think that it was transactional for some reason. And it's like I was growing up looking at my friends having like these amazing families, and they were thriving, and I was over here just like with the water up to here trying to survive, right? So and there's a it's if you grew up with trauma, we are a different breed. And I think that every business owner is a different breed, by the way, because like what we choose is insanity. But the people that went through trauma, like obviously you cannot compare yourself to the person that it's not living in that same state. When others are thriving, you're surviving. But I think that going back to her, I think that if she knew that we were gonna be safe, I think that yeah, I will be president of the United States or somewhere. Yeah, because I think that it helped me up. It helped me down so much. I think that everybody, yeah, I just wanted to make a living and get out of my situation, right? And it took me a long time to get out there. Was that answer?
You did. You did. Okay, these podcasts are no longer allowed to be virtual because I really just want to give you a big hug right now. This conversation, honestly, I knew it was gonna be so good, but damn, girl. I really feel like I just received a masterclass, so I can only imagine how everybody listening is going to feel. This was the biggest privilege and honor being able to have you on this podcast. Can you please tell people this is gonna air, by the way, the first week of January. Can you tell people what's going on in your world, how they can get involved, and how they can find you?
Of course. So obviously, Caitlin is gonna add in the description of the podcast like the socials and everything, so you can get me. You can find me there. If you listen to this and like, just come to my DMs and say hi. Like really, what you just listen is the same way that I am in my DMs. Like you have a
This is true.
you.
Very authentic.
So yeah, just follow me on Instagram if you want to. If you vibe, send me a DM and say hi. And for those of you who are business owners and want to get in, more of this and a little bit more strategy, you can get into my free spaces. You can obviously get into Limitless. I will be so honored to talk to you about that. Either way, I am just honored if you just say hi.
You hear
And
that,
that's
disruptive weirdos? Go get it. Go get Limitless. I truly have my 5-star rating, 10 out of 10 for Wandi. Like from the second we've met, it's been nothing but authentic connection and just real talk. Just real talk.
yeah.
So please say hi to her. Please. You will never regret it. You'll have the best conversation. And Wandi, I can actually say with certainty right now that this will be doing this again on the podcast. So
I
you're
will be.
already a return guest.
Yeah, and you
We have
are
so
already.
much more to talk about.
No, thank you so much. Thank you everybody who's listening. I want to see you win. Just like, yeah, ID your non-negotiables and go from there. Because like there's no blueprint or anything, and nobody can tell you what to do or not to do. Just like you need to make the decision first and then go at it like it's your life.
And it is. That's what we do. I love it. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Kaylee.